Hello, I am in front of my Pieris japonica. Here are the amazing flowers from Pieris japonica. Little bubblegum bubbles. And they smell really wonderfully. Little bit like bubblegum actually. So, really gorgeous. Gorgeous. And here are my roses. This is the light purple one. And they're doing very well now because I put them into the buckets to protect them from the ground animals. So I should have done that in the beginning. And then I grounded them with this wire. And here's the white rose, doing very well, also grounded with the wire. You have to put holes into the buckets on the bottom and set them into this retainer pool. And here is my avocado tree and an apple tree. Together I have to separate them, and I still have to ground them. But they're still doing quite well. So I'm very happy that they grew from the seeds. They grew all on their own, getting really thick and nice and healthy. And we do composting, and so we have really balanced, healthy earth soil now that the earthworms created. They recycled all the bio waste, and it smells really clean and really good, the stuff that comes out of the earthworms. It's amazing. So, and that's the way to live, you know. You have to live in a complete green life cycle, biodynamic cycle. That's the best to do it. So, okay, let me go through. I'm going to show you the garden. I don't want to show the license plate, so I have to be very careful about it. Okay, here's my beautiful garden. I'm gonna miss all of this so much. Yes, I'm gonna miss that forever. But we have to move on. I need to create a therapy help center out in the desert. I like the desert. I really like. I like the hot springs. Very healing. But I love this area too. It's absolutely gorgeous. And we have another acre behind the fence. But that goes very steep downhill, down to a stream. And this is absolutely gorgeous. And down there are Kenny and Dave, the graves. And I want to show you the other plants too. This is my Camellia japonica. And it is antiviral, antibacterial, gorgeous. Look at these gorgeous flowers. Absolutely gorgeous. These are called Professor Sargent. Hello, I'm a professor. Yes. So, I guess Professor Sargent named them after himself because they have convoluted flowers. This is a cedar. I love this, absolutely love this tree. I love all of these trees. And this is the rhododendron. These are many different types of rhododendron. This one is an azalea, very similar to rhododendron, and I'm sure that has the same medicinal qualities as rhododendron has. Rhododendron is also like Camellia japonica is antiviral. I researched all of this on the internet, and they have done studies for Ayurveda in India, but they actually use these plants as a natural vaccine, and that's what I do. I drink the tea from like 3 leaves, and I just shred them, put them into my thermos cup, and I put boiling water on it, and I drink that, and it tastes really good, and it keeps me healthy. It's really, really awesome, and it has many other healing abilities for all kinds of things. So this is my favorite place. I like to sit here next to Kenny and Dave's graves. I put rocks on their graves. I miss them forever. And these amazing Douglas fir trees, they grew on their own from just little saplings that were like this size when we moved here in 2010, and they grew this tall, like 10 feet tall. Oh, this is amazing. You're doing so well. And this one too, 10 even taller than the other one. Huge. Amazing. And Paul kept mowing over those saplings, and I said, don't do that, you need to let them grow. But they fought through. They didn't want to be cut off anymore. They wanted to grow real fast so that Paul will see that they want to live and that they're strong. So then eventually they got really strong and thick, and then he couldn't mow over them anymore, and that's so good. Okay, so let me sit over here. This is my place where I sit around noon, because the sun comes straight from there, and this is all sunlight here around noon. And right now it is in the shade, which is good, but this area is in the sun, and I sit there also sunbathing sometimes. And I'm going to take my boots off. Yay, getting grounded. So you need to do this. This is very important. It doesn't matter how cold it is. You know, you can have winter clothes on. I have double pants on, okay? But take off your socks and make sure that your skin touches the earth. Very important to do that, okay? Very important to do that. Even if it's just the heel while I'm sitting like this. So this is very good to do. So anyway, I want to talk a little bit more about the psychological phenomena, plural, phenomenon, singular. So this phenomenon of why so many men cheat on their girlfriends in order to not be cheated on, this is part 2. And I watched half of Sam Vaknin's video from today. I'm gonna watch the rest later. I wanted to seize the sunlight, and I want to watch several of his videos later. And I also want to finish my artwork. I have an artwork upstairs that is almost completed. I need to do belly dancing, I need to make myself a rhododendron tea, all that I need to do, and make this video, and I need to address all of these things, and I hope that I don't forget anything that I wanted to say, because I have already been rehearsing these inner dialogues on what I need to say and how I need to word it in order for people to understand it better, to clarify the situation. So it made some kind of sound. Okay. I don't know how long it will let me make the video, maybe for 35 minutes or something. So Sam Vaknin talks about all of this, and he really sheds light onto it and onto the causality also, that's the most important part of it. The causality. What is the underlying reason why people behave in a very specific way? And I think people shouldn't shy away from this or block this out or run away screaming, and say, don't psychoanalyze me, how dare you. So I dare, baby, you better believe it. Because I'm a hobby psychologist, that's what I do. Okay, I'm interested in this stuff, and we need to do healing work, all of us. I'm not the only one here who needs to do healing, the whole world needs to do healing. So there are animals that are traumatized, and there are chimpanzees like Bubbles, for example. The chimpanzee from Michael Jackson. Horrifically sad, made me cry rivers when I saw how he was sitting there, when I think it was Janet Jackson or LaToya Jackson, one of them came to visit him and sat there with him, and she said, "Do you remember me?" And he hung his head down, and it was like he was saying, "Yeah, I remember you, but you have abandoned me. You have brought me here to this enclosure, and I can't hang out with you guys anymore, and that makes me infinitely sad." And who knows what kind of trauma he has in him, And humans, they're not so direct in their communication. Chimpanzees are much more direct, and dogs they're ultra direct in their communication. They go straight towards you, they lick you. People don't want that. I like it when a dog licks me in the face. I did French kissing with Kenny, my Great Dane. He always wanted to do that, and I thought that was so cute. I've never seen anything like this before. The papa dog wasn't so much into it, but he licked a little bit on my lips, like, "Yeah, I like you. Yes, you're cool." But Kenny, I called him my husband, out of jokes, because he acted like he was my partner. He saw me as his wife. No, I don't think so. He was neutered. We neutered him very early. Now people have to wash their brains after watching my videos. Yes, they do. Go for it, baby. Wash your brain with the evangelical church. So, but anyway, I don't want to get off the subject. I am way too giggly now lately. This is insane. I need to calm the heck down. I need to really, I need to focus my mind better. Breathe. Pranayama. Get the energy. Harness the energy from the infinite cosmos. Now, I'm not taking the energy away from the plant. The plant is just radiating energy like a sun. So, and we give each other energy, sunbeams of love. And pranayama is Prana is life force, and that comes from the infinite cosmos, from the blue God. And we harness that into us through breathing, through kindness, through love, through compassion. I breathe in the prana, so very, very important, and do the grounding, very important. So Sam Vaknin, he really looks at all of these mechanisms close up, and his main focus is the malignant narcissist, and that's quite a phenomenon. The malignant narcissist, I see those in the chat room. There are hundreds of those, and I'm not judging, I'm not blaming, I'm not condemning you to some kind of dungeon, okay? I'm just saying it is malignant narcissism, because they behave in ways that are really hurtful towards other people, psychologically. So that, in all kinds of hurtful ways, even sadistic. There are people that are psychologically sadistic, there are people that are physically sadistic. And what I noticed is that they will call me psychologically sadistic. They call me demon and devil and witch. It's very interesting. When I give love, I just give love. But they don't want me to give love to the other ones. They want to have that love for themselves. I'm not just talking about, in terms of flirting. I'm talking about just like general kindness, attention, friendliness. Most of them don't want to share that with others. They want to hog that for themselves. They want the attention from all women for themselves. They don't want the women to give attention to the other ones. And that is narcissism. It can become very malignant when they start to retaliate. Then they do retaliative psychological games with each other. I mean, the men, they really go at each other's throats, and sometimes in a funny way, sometimes in a quite mean way, and that makes me sad when I see that. The women will viciously slander other women. Okay, I block those. I don't want that in my life. I really don't need it, and it's not going anywhere, even if I try to fix them or help them or explain myself or justify or help them with compliments. None of that works. Okay, so no, they are in their mental issues, okay, and there's no way I can help them. So I'm not in any way a person that can make them see something, because they are in the emotions. Dr. Arthur Janov always said you can't argue rationality with someone who is in an emotional feeling. Okay, you can't do that. They're in the emotional feeling states of, whatever it is. Hatred, jealousy, coveting, wanting something, feeling entitled, to attention, and so on. Not wanting to share it. It's all happening, unfortunately, and it's very sad. And they're vicious in a backstabbing way, in a gossiping way, in a slandering way. Okay, but I see the men. There are some men that are doing it to men too. So slandering, lots and lots of slandering. Danny, sorry, I have to call you out. You have been slandering people like there's no tomorrow. You have been slandering Zane. You have been slandering Godwin. You slander any man that comes along and gets women's attention, you know. So, and you need to become aware about this, Danny. You know, this isn't going anywhere, okay? So I feel compassion for you. I feel compassion for everyone, okay? I don't want anyone to be hurting. And it makes me very sad when I see people are acting out wild with their narcissism, with their entitlement, with their malignant narcissism, with their backstabbing, and all of this. And it's not getting them anywhere, okay? That's not going anywhere productive, okay? It just makes you get enemies, it makes people block you, and then eventually you're not even going to get respect from the other women. So you certainly don't get my respect with that. You know, I see that as, I care about you, but, you know, as a friend, but you're not gonna get my attention with that kind of behavior, that's for sure. What gets my attention is when people pack out, you know, as a friend in general, as friend zone, friend, women and men, friends, just friends. You get my attention when you are honest, when you interact with honesty and you share things from your own life. I know this is not difficult. I know that is very difficult. That is not easy at all. My brain always reverses stuff. So it is very difficult to share things, but it is well worth it. You know, it's well worth sharing stuff and putting your cards on the table and saying what you want and what you feel and who you want to be with, what kind of person you want to be with, how you want to structure your future life, and so on, and what you want to make out of your life. You know, it's very important to have goals, to set goals. It's very, very important, and not just live from one day to another and feeling entitlement and making other people's lives miserable and causing drama and all of this. That's not going anywhere. That's the wrong kind of way to get attention from anyone. So, but what I really want to talk about is why so many men, when they have an actual girlfriend, you know, in person, not just on the internet, not just some crush. I'm talking about, like, that's what Sam Vaknin is talking about. When a man has a beautiful woman, or a woman that he finds beautiful, beauty, you know, that's all. That is very subjective. You know, we're bombarded with beauty standards. That's another subject by itself. People will fall into this very much, and then they have an inner conflict because they think they have to adhere to society, but what they really like is a different shape. So I see that a whole lot. I talked about this. But let's say a man has a woman that he really wants, you know, physically, and the relationship is fulfilling and happy, and they're having fun together, okay, and then he feels possessive. He feels like, what if she cheats? What if she goes to work, and then he goes to work somewhere else? What if there's a guy at her workplace who is going to be courting her? And what if she decides to go home with him one afternoon, and that's like the end of the world for him, you know, total catastrophe for the ego. So then he decides, kind of like reminds me of Ernie from Sesame Street. I don't know if you know those shows. So that was like in the 70s when we were children, and Ernie, okay, this is the scenario. Ernie borrows a vacuum cleaner from Mr. Hoover. And they have Mr. Hoover there as a Muppet also. And he goes up to the door, and then he stops and he says to himself, I better not knock on the door. What if he is taking a shower? And what if he's really busy with something, and then he gets mad that someone is interrupting his daily life, wanting to borrow a vacuum cleaner? What if he gets really mad, and then what if he insults me? And so Ernie talks himself basically into a rage of a future possibility that has never even happened. And so then, out of this self-fulfilling prophecy, he knocks on the door really hard, hammers on the door. And then Mr. Hoover opens the door. Huh? What's going on? And Ernie shouts at him, "You can stick your vacuum cleaner onto your head." And he walks away. And so this in my family became the Ernie effect. Okay, so every time one of us would be doing something like this, like insinuating something or extrapolating into the future, into an uncomfortable situation, or into something that we're afraid of, like someone shouting at us, and my mother would say, "You're doing the Ernie effect now. You need to come back to base camp." And so she was always very observing with those kind of things when it came to other people, but not for her own psychological dynamics, of course. There she was very unconscious, and we children could not help her, of course. So, but that's very interesting, and that's exactly what's happening in relationships. The man will think, "Oh, what if she's gonna cheat?" And then he actually thinks himself into a rage against her, and then out of this rage comes a very snarly, sadistic act, psychologically. There are men that do physical sadistic acts, that out of that all kinds of things can come out of this, out of like thinking yourself into a rage. And Thich Nhat Hanh talks about this also, Buddhist monk in France from Vietnam. I read all of his books. They're amazing. And he talks about this, how we have to come back to total radical honesty when we interact with each other. And that's the only way we can see the other person. We can feel compassion for the other person. Okay? So we can't feel compassion when we're thinking ourselves into a rage, like, what if he's doing this? What if she's doing this? So that's why so many men, and they are really in a pressure cooker, much more than women are. Women can express themselves more because society accepts that more in women, to express themselves. They don't accept it when men express themselves. They get very quickly insulted. You see it already in the chat room, all of this, okay? So, and all of this insulting and shaming just causes more woundedness. It causes more suffering in the world. It causes more war, okay? That has to end, okay? You need to dissolve this type of behavior. You need to recycle that behavior into consciousness and into an inwardness meditation, into introspection, okay, into insights. And then you have knowledge. You no longer have to drive yourself into those kind of rage situations. So then they go out and they will cheat with another one who they might not even like as much as the actual girlfriend, okay? Just to get even for something that has never even occurred, or hasn't occurred yet. Or even if she has cheated, that is not the way to solve the problem, obviously. No. The way to solve the problem is you go up to her and you say, "Are you cheating on me?" Or you say, "I saw you with that other guy flirting and that made me feel bad." Pack it out. you know, go up to her and say it. Say how you feel, okay? And when it comes to internet, you know, that's like the perfect way of hiding yourself permanently. You can be permanently hiding yourself for the rest of your life, you know. That goes so much against my philosophy. Suddenly there are guys coming up to me on Facebook, you know. I have no idea where they're coming from. I have mentioned my Facebook name a few times in the chat room, but the guys say, I don't have a Facebook, I don't do Facebook, I don't like Mark Zuckerberg, okay? But how much you want to bet? I bet you $1,000 that they all have some kind of fake account, you know, or maybe have some other photo or different name, some kind of sock account on Facebook, you know, where they can see women and they can try to elicit photos from them. And it always will stay in that anonymous way, and there will never be a friendship coming out of this. There will, you know, maybe a woman will give a photo. I have done it, I'm guilty of this, you know. But it's not guilty, you know, it's, we have hormones and we like to show ourselves a little bit exhibitionist, okay? And we want to be wanted, we want to be liked, okay? The other day, guy, I thought he was cute. You know, I have no idea where he came from. He could be from the chat room. I asked him, he didn't even answer the question. So he could be from the chat room. Kind of nice, cute guy, you know. So we shared photos. And I should have asked that in the very beginning, the question, are you a hunter? Okay, that could have saved me a lot of trouble. I mean, that could have saved us a lot of, like, getting into it and emotional investment. Like, it would be better right up front to say, are you a hunter? He'll say, yes, my freezer, I have 10 freezers full of dead animals. Okay, then I wish you the best. Peace out. So, but eventually I found out and I said, I wish you the best. I have to block you, sorry. So that's what I did, and apparently there's a whole lot of those, okay, in the world. And apparently the ones that don't hunt are like in the absolute minority. And that makes things really, really difficult. That makes it so difficult for me to find someone to trust and someone to hang out with and someone to talk endlessly about psychology. It makes it very difficult. And I'm not interested in being someone's perpetual teacher and therapist. You know, I may have that function as well, but for friendship, you know, I can't be dating a baby, you know, who is stuck at age 10 or something. You know, I have to have a mature man who also listens to me and my problems, who also makes me feel better, and who is there to comfort me and hold me, and not just big mama, you know, holding baby, you know. So yeah, and Sam Wagner talked about this in his video from today, how a lot of people, they're still really, really stuck in childhood, and it's not a judgment, it is because they have been traumatized, and because of that trauma they could never develop a real sense of themselves as an adult. So they almost feel like they're fake, and I can relate to this. When I was listening to him talk about this, yeah, I nodded the whole time, you know. I thought, yeah, this is it, that's it, absolutely spot on. And that's how I have felt for a very, very long time. I also have childlikeness that is healthy, of course. I'm an artist. But I also have childishness that is not normal, that's not natural, okay? That comes from neurosis, obviously. I want a man to take care of me, which is neurotic, okay? It's very neurotic. And then I also want a man who's younger than me, and then it's like, Do I want someone to take care of me, or do I want the younger one? But not just the younger ones are babies, the older ones are babies too. There are men my age and older that are babies stuck, in some anal retentiveness from the past, at age, I don't know, anything from 10 to 15, but it doesn't go much beyond that. And again, it's not a judgment, it's because they could never really grow. And then when they add drugs to it and alcohol, then that keeps them stuck in there forever. That will never make them mature mentally, and that's very unfortunate. So I don't want to make the video too long now. So what else did I need to say? So the most important thing, I think, is for anyone, that's my advice for people in general, you need to first start in your own house. You need to sit on your couch and you need to go into your own mind in complete stillness. No radio on, no music playing. Just sit there, or go out in nature and sit under a tree and listen to the birds. Listen to nature sounds. Okay? That is not destructive. So, and then you can meditate. And a lot of people don't want to do this because then the pain comes up. But that's exactly what we want to do. That's the bottleneck that we have to go through. I call it the ego dissolution funnel. Okay? And this whole thing is called the inwardness meditation process. We have to go through it. Okay, it's very important. And it seems a little bit scary, but there are people you can lean on, like myself. So the sound came up. Hey, recording capacity is reaching its limits. So yeah, there are people you can lean on in this process that you can write to, and take the courage to write to them. Okay, we all need to. We're all suffering. Okay, no, you are not weird. You're not strange. You're not a creep. Okay, you are just suffering, and you are afraid to talk about it. Okay, so make this decision to find someone you trust and talk to that person about your stuff. Okay, and then develop a friendship. It can just be just a friendship, like buddies. So just to have someone to talk to feel a little bit better. Baby steps, to move towards making peace in the world and making the world a better place. Okay? And helping everyone. That helps everyone if you do this. If you make videos about this, can you imagine how many people you can help if you talk about your stuff? I've seen some courageous people on YouTube, some that are not famous, okay, that are doing this, and they're helping other people with this. Okay, you guys take care. Bye bye.